Hello, I am Allison Yellow. I am a fresh quarantarmy. How you doing? Annyeonghaseyo, nice to meet you. Let me just say, I am so proud of this fandom. I am so proud of being part of this fandom for not only flooding stupid hashtags, not only matching 1 million, but matching millions. Y'all, we are powerful, and with great power, comes great responsibility, okay? I just wanted to make this video for the people who enjoy K-pop and dissociate it from the Black Lives Matter movement, and just talk a little bit about how the movement is so relevant to us, consumers of K-pop, and to also just remind my fellow beautiful and powerful army who are in it, who have flooded those hashtags, who have matched that 1 million, to remind us that our work is not done. And our work, honestly, will never be done. Because with the power we hold as a collective, we can seriously, truly achieve some amazing things for the world. Not to be dramatic, but like, we raised $1 million in like 24 hours. It takes me 24 hours just to decide whether or not to get out of bed. Anyway, as the world moves forward, not moving on, but moving forward, let's not go back to normal, but go into a new normal and redefine normal with new habits to advocate for Black lives. So, first of all, bottom line, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. That's a fact. It's not controversial. So I'm going to present more facts and do some research with you that I hope you are doing on your own. Because like I said, I am a fresh quarantarmy, so I fell into the K-pop rabbit hole just in the last couple months in quarantine. So feel free to fact check me because I'm still learning like everyone else. And please have discussions in the comments, but make sure to be kind and to be open if we are going to be committing to educating ourselves instead of just fighting, you know? So what I do know about K-pop as we know today is not just limited to the pop genre of music. There are a lot of songs in the K-pop world that are rock songs, punk songs, R&B songs, hip-hop songs, among others, but all of which that I've listed were either created by Black people or have Black influence. I'll put some books in the description if you want to research more of that. But literally on Wikipedia, it says K-pop is characterized by a mixture of modern Western sounds and African American influences, including sounds from hip-hop, R&B, jazz, Black pop, soul, funk, techno, disco, house, and Afro beats. Besides the music itself, we see this in the clothes that they wear, their aesthetics, their styles, the lyrics. This is from EXO's Love Me Right. Shoddy, I'ma party till the sun down. The dance moves, etc. So the 3-member band Sotaeji, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sotaeji. So the 3-member group Sotaeji and Boys, who were active in the 90s, they're known for sort of pioneering K-pop as we know today and incorporating rap, and they had such a big hip-hop influence that I think that's why today K-pop is way more hip-hop leaning, I guess, from what I've seen at least. I mean, BTS, we all know, started as a hip-hop group. They literally have a reality show. Where they trained with Coolio and Warren G, who are Black, to mentor them in hip-hop and that culture. K-pop has been so influenced by hip-hop and Black culture that some K-pop groups and artists have been criticized for culturally appropriating Black culture, which is an ongoing debate and it's a whole other beast in itself. But essentially, K-pop benefits from Black influence, Black culture, and Black people. So this is a fact. K-pop, as we know and love today, would not exist without Black people. And a lot of people are calling out the industry and people in the industry for not speaking out more vocally about the movement. Soju, who is Shot with Soju on Instagram, called out a lot of the big companies, the big K-pop companies, for not speaking out on the Black Lives Matter movement Like a True Queen. Tiffany Red, who wrote NCTU's Boss, among other songs, also called out SM for not fairly compensating her and then kind of ghosting her when she called them out for it. And I don't know what politics and music industry stuff that goes into that, but if you enjoy any of the music that goes out from SM, the least you can do is listen and hear what she has to say. I'll link it below. From what I researched, SM has a pretty big roster of Black artists that write and produce music for them, which I'm sure other K-pop companies and groups have as well. But like Queen Soju said, they are all in a position where they should be speaking out in this movement and supporting Black lives, which to my knowledge, they are not yet. Some of the artists and individual idols have spoken out or donated or, participated in the movement, but these companies are essentially profiting and benefiting from Black people, and they are not supporting them in a time that they need support. So as fans who enjoy and support the music that these companies put out, I think it's even more important for us to use our voices. We be using our voices to roast each other, to roast each other's groups, to sell out a pencil that our favorite idol used. Like I said, we have a lot of power as a collective, so let's use our voices for something positive. We have to wreak havoc like we did with those hashtags. And not literally wreak havoc, because I know we can literally wreak havoc, but like that energy. So now I want to focus on some of the Black artists that we have to thank for blessing us with some of our favorite tracks. Blue, blue, la da da. Paradise. Paradise was produced by Lo-File and Imani, which is his last name, but in letter form. And I think that's so cool. Wow. Wow. Wah 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 wah. All Night, which was BTS's collaboration with Juice WRLD. Rest in peace. This song was produced by Powers Pleasant. Adrian McKinnon, who has written or produced for so many groups, FX, EXO, Baekhyun, Wavy, Astro, SHINee, NCT, and just like all of SM. The Colleagues, they've worked on songs for NCT and Red Velvet. Dante Johnson, who has worked on a billion EXO songs. Tay Jasper, who has worked on songs for EXO, NCT, SHINee, Wavy, Red Velvet, Taemin, FX, TVXQ. Chick, who has worked on songs for EXO, Red Velvet, SHINee, NCT, and Boa. Dem Joints, also known as Dwayne Abernathy, has worked on songs for NCT, EXO, Taeyeon, Red Velvet, but also like Rihanna and like Janet Jackson. The Stereotypes, who have worked on songs for Red Velvet, NCT, but also like Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, Bruno Mars, Teddy Riley, who has worked with EXO, but also like Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson, and links to all these artists and their profiles in the description, of course. Now, I specifically researched SM's roster because of what Tiffany Red had said, but you can literally just go on Genius and type in your favorite songs and see who wrote it, who produced it, the people that were involved in it, and see what else they've produced or written or worked on, because it's pretty likely that they've worked on other songs that you like as well in K-pop. And while you're at it, just check out their other music, because it's more likely than not that you'll like their music because you already like so many of the songs that they've worked on. I just named a few, but continue to do this research on the music that you love and appreciate the Black artists that are involved in making the music that you love. It is the very least that you can do. It's because of them, it's because of Black people that we have some of our favorite tracks. So again, as a fandom, as a community, we cannot be quiet in this movement. So many other things besides K-pop have Black influence, benefit from the efforts of Black people, or just flat out wouldn't exist without Black people who don't get the credit that they deserve. So it is the very least you can do to give them credit. And I urge you to go further and learn about the Black people who created the genres of music that we love. You like jazz? Wouldn't have it without Black people. So for those of you who enjoy K-pop and don't think that the Black Lives Matter movement has to do with you, the fact is that it does. If you stan K-pop or stan anything within K-pop, you should be standing the fight for Black lives. Wanna know how? Boy, let me tell ya! We have to acknowledge our privileges. For the quiet folk in the back, I know you guys are loud as heck when you guys are comfortable with your friends or at home. And if you're uncomfortable in all of this, that's okay. But be honest with yourself, reflect, understand why you're uncomfortable, and really understand, think about it, and sit with it, and channel that into this movement. Because we need to support Black people who have suffered fighting for the privileges that we have and take for granted. So let's not take them for granted and use those privileges. All lives can't matter unless Black lives matter. Yes, I'm a big advocate for Asian Americans, hashtag representation, whatever, but that is not the point. The point still exists. Don't worry, it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop advocating for us, but the point is that we need to advocate for Black lives. The fact that we are able to advocate for them and not experience what they experience, that's a privilege, and we have to understand that and use that and take advantage of that and speak up for those who don't have the same privileges. I'm not gonna lecture you about what privileges we do have, because I'm sure my fellow children of immigrants, I'm sure you already endure enough lectures from your parents, and we all know that lecturing isn't necessarily the most effective. Being talked at isn't as effective as being talked with. So not only should you be talking with your family and friends and having those tough conversations, which you should absolutely be doing, but also have that talk with yourself and be honest with yourself consistently, not just once, but as much as you can. Check yourself as much as you can. Hold yourself accountable, hold others accountable. Because to be the best allies we can be for the Black lives that need us, we need to understand the privileges that we have and use them and fight harder because of them. Of course, it's not easy or comfortable to do this, but we need to do this. It is a privilege to even be able to choose to sit with discomfort. It's not easy, it's not comfortable to look back and remember, oh, I used to say the N-word in middle school because all my friends were saying it. It's not easy or comfortable to be like, oh, I use skin whitening creams because I thought to be pretty, I had to be white. It's not easy or comfortable to be like, oh, I was kind of racist. But we have to sit with these realities, grow from them, learn from them, and use them to fight even harder. We learn the most from our mistakes, right? Even if you aren't racist, that doesn't do anyone any good except for your ego. Again, we are in a place of privilege, whatever that privilege or privileges may be for you. It may not be the same privileges as someone else, but understand the ones that you do have. Regardless, it is our responsibility to use those privileges and fight for those who don't have the same privileges. Like Ijoma Oluo says, when we identify where our privilege intersects with someone else's oppression, that's where we'll find opportunities to make real change. So some reminders that you probably already have heard, but it shouldn't be getting old, because remember, this is a movement, not a moment. Nothing is one and done. Donate. Let's say you spend like $30 a week on Starbucks, boba, or takeout. I would suggest donating at least 1 week's worth of that luxury expense to people who need it and causes who need it, whereas it's luxury for us, because that money will mean so much more than a grande vanilla iced latte with almond milk and light ice and 3 pumps of hazelnut. I am currently unemployed and broke, so I'm trying to be as efficient with my donations as possible. So donating with companies that will match and double your donation, or just boost it in any way. For example, I work at Disney, so they matched and doubled my donation with them, and I'm donating with friends who work at companies like Intuit, Apple, just companies that will also do that with your donation and make it worth more. So do what you can. You can also just spend your $30 and support Black-owned businesses and still get your takeout and your coffee or whatever. If you don't know how to find these businesses, I'll link some links below. There are apps you can use like Eat Okra. There are blogs and websites you can follow. And there's also just good old Googs. Also, if you're on YouTube already, I'll link some videos or playlists below that you can just leave streaming in the back, because the ad revenue made from those videos are donated to Black Lives Matter. Sign petitions! Literally the 10 seconds it takes for you to write your first, last name, and email and click a button can change someone's life. Literally can change the world. That's why it's called change.org. And of course, I'll link some easy access petitions down below. And just remember to read the petitions and do your research on the petitions, because people be out here putting their own nasty, selfish political agendas on things and taking advantage of this time. But just be smart and stay informed. Speak up. Talk to friends, talk to family, and the ones that you know are low-key or high-key racist, not the ones that are already out there risking their safety. Of course, I will link some resources down there because I know it is not easy to approach these conversations, especially if they aren't conversations that you've had before. You don't even need a literal voice to speak up. You can repost things on social media. And if you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna lose followers, it's better than losing your dignity. If we are already spending like 6,000 days to just think of a caption, edit a picture, think of hashtags, then it is way easier and way faster to just repost something. Any excuse you're thinking of not to do something as simple and meaningful as that is just another reminder to check with yourself and check the privileges that you haven't acknowledged yet. Stay informed! Oh my gosh. Keep seeking information, keep educating yourself and passing that along to others. If you can't do anything else, read, watch, listen. I know y'all are probably in bed or on the toilet watching this right now, probably thinking of an excuse to stay there, so let me help you out. Look at the links below. Remember, it is a privilege to just be able to educate ourselves about this matter instead of experiencing it. There may be a lot of unlearning and relearning things, but the fact that you are even willing to do that is taking action. So be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself and everyone else, and stay open-minded. Be kind, be patient, create safe spaces. Don't just have screaming matches with your family and friends. That helps no one. Create safe spaces for people to ask questions, to express their doubts and have these discussions and be open to receiving them so that you can translate the message of Black Lives Matter in a way that resonates with that person, because everyone is different, everyone learns differently, everyone takes in information differently. How are we going to make change if the people who may want to make a change and want to be better don't feel safe enough to express their opinions and their doubts and discuss them and have patience, because we probably will not all be on the same page in a week. And I think a lot of us are getting frustrated because we want to change now, because we have seen some incredible change in so short amount of time. So we're just like expecting everything to be like, happen now, change, you know? But remember, it's not easy. It's not a quick process to deconstruct beliefs that you've had your whole life that maybe now you're just realizing are not true. That's why I think a lot of people react defensively. It's because it's human nature. So be patient, be kind, be open, and still be persistent. It's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's a marathon, not a race. And please create a safe space in the comments and have a discussion. Please have discussions and be open and kind to each other. So as a collective, we've already achieved some amazing things. So to keep the ball rolling, to keep the momentum going, we have to make sure the work that we're doing is sustainable. I'm not saying that K-pop fans should become activists, but I'm saying as consumers and supporters of K-pop, it is our responsibility and it is our duty to support Black lives and advocate for them. And not just K-pop, as consumers of music, dance, art, a lot of which have Black influence. We need to support Black people who have created a culture that we take from, that we consume from every day, and continue to shape a culture that supports and protects them. No matter how woke or active or anti-racist we think we are, it's still our responsibility to always check ourselves for any hidden biases or deeply buried opinions that may be discriminatory or prejudice or stereotypes, etc. Those opinions and biases don't define us, but what we do about them does. Some of the most valuable work that we do for this movement and for future movements is going to be within ourselves, and we have to commit to putting our ego aside and commit to getting better and commit to the work, and that is part of the work. For those of you who are trying to put on the activist shoes when those shoes may not fit yet, who are already doing the most, maybe too much for us to handle and still feel guilty about it because we still are able to step away from it when Black people can't and they still have to live it. remember that is a privilege. Use it and work harder because of it. But remember to take care of yourself. Activism requires, certain skills, a skill set, training that many of us overlook because of how passionate we've become, which is amazing. In literally just a couple of weeks, we've achieved some amazing, amazing changes. But since a lot of us aren't used to taking in so much information, heavy information, of course it's gonna be overwhelming. Of course we're gonna get burnt out and feel like we're not doing enough. But Black Lives Matter is a movement that highlights an issue that is centuries old, and we are all sprinting full speed trying to solve it right now. And remember, it's marathon. Of course it's gonna be overwhelming and easy to burn out before the finish line if we try to keep sprinting in a marathon. And we won't be able to maintain the work we've been doing if we burn out before the finish line. We're all gifted in different ways, so find your way of keeping this momentum going. Remember to be kind to yourself and to others. Remember, we are all learning. We are all going to make mistakes, and be open to making mistakes because we learn the most from them. Remember to fight with love and don't get blinded or distracted by hate. For our actions to have a lasting and meaningful effect, it has to be sustainable. We can't do our best work if we're not at our best. We are powerful. With great power comes great responsibility. Ami, I love us and the 2 million we raised in like a day, but it doesn't end at that. It's not one and done. It's not 2 million and done. It's not enough to not be racist. We need to commit ourselves to anti-racist work, educating ourselves, unlearning, relearning, reflecting, talking with others, talking with ourselves, using our voices, using our privileges, supporting each other, and just working as a collective. That's how we raised that $1 million, $2 million. That's how we sell out things in matters of minutes. And that is just the start of what we're gonna do. Let's make habits out of the actions we've already taken and redefine normal with them. Because remember, we have privileges and we need to use them. We need to take advantage of them. We need to advocate and support our Black brothers and sisters because it is our duty, because Black lives matter. Love you, Ami. 감사합니다. 사랑해요. Let's do this.